Chapter 4, The Price of Power, Part 2, Collapse and Confrontation. The next week began with rain. Soft silver rain that whispered against the school windows, turning the courtyard into a dull mirror. For most of the kids, it was just another wet day a chance to trade stickers in the hallway or sneak candy under desks. But for Altara Vale, it was the sound of an empire drowning. He sat in the corner of the classroom, notebook open on his lap, watching droplets trace crooked lines down the glass. Each drop, each trickle, felt like time running out. His once immaculate charts had grown chaotic crossed-out numbers, debts unpaid, red marks bleeding into the margins. Something was unraveling. And this time, he couldn't fix it with charm or logic. It began with a small rebellion. Liam Carter, a freckled boy from Class 4B, stood on top of the lunch table one afternoon and shouted, "Why should Altara decide what candy's worth? He's not the boss of us." Laughter erupted, sharp and uneasy. The crowd gathered like wolves scenting weakness. Derek Mason stood nearby, arms crossed, grinning. He didn't need to lead the charge, he just had to stand there and let it happen. Altara froze. The notebook in his hands felt suddenly heavy, like a crown made of lead. He had been through boardroom coups, corporate smear campaigns, and betrayal in far grander halls than this, yet somehow this was worse. Because this time, the empire collapsing around him wasn't built from glass towers and profit margins, it was built from children's trust. "I don't decide," he tried to say, voice steady but thin. "The system does. Fair trade keeps order fair for who?" Liam shot back. "You make the rules, you get the best trades, and everyone else gets scraps." Murmurs spread, heads nodded. Ivy stood near the back, silent, her expression unreadable. Altara felt the familiar heat of panic rise in his chest, the desperate need to explain, to justify. But as he looked at the faces of his classmates, he realized they weren't listening. They didn't want fairness, they wanted freedom. The same hunger had once crushed beneath contracts and control. He closed the notebook slowly. "You're right," he said quietly. "Maybe it's time the system ends." The room went still. For the first time since he'd started this strange second life, Altara Vale relinquished control willingly. But endings are never clean. By the next day, chaos reigned. Kids fought over candy trades, old debts turned into playground brawls. Without Altara's rules, everything fractured into noise and greed. The teachers didn't notice, they only saw the usual childish disorder. But to Altara, it was a market crash. A moral recession. He walked through it all like a ghost, silent, detached, watching the small world burn. And as much as he wanted to stop it, some deeper part of him whispered, "You chose this. You wanted freedom. Now live with it." That whisper sounded eerily like Ivy's voice. He found her after class, beneath the old oak tree where they used to talk. She was sketching something in her notebook. Not numbers, but shapes, branches, leaves, sky. "You were right," he said. She looked up. "About what?" "Everything." He sat beside her, the damp grass soaking into his shoes. "I tried to build something better. A fair system. But I ended up making another machine that eats people." Ivy studied him for a moment. "You didn't make a bad thing, Altara. You just didn't know how to let go of control." He sighed. "In my last life, I thought control was survival. I built walls out of contracts and called them safety. But here," he gestured toward the schoolyard, "even here, I just repeated the same mistake." "Maybe that's how people learn," she said softly. "By breaking what they build over and over until they finally understand what should be left standing." Her words hung between them, fragile, luminous. For the first time, Altara didn't feel the need to respond. He simply listened to the wind to the laughter of children rediscovering how to play without permission. It was chaos, yes, but it was real. The following days passed like a fever breaking. The old order vanished, replaced by something simpler. Kids began to trade directly, not by rules or ledgers, but by choice. Favors replaced contracts. Friendship replaced profit. It hurt to watch, but it also healed something in him. He'd spent lifetimes trying to perfect systems that kept people from hurting each other. But perhaps that was never the point. Perhaps the point was to live messy, uncertain, and beautifully human. Still, not everyone was ready to forgive. Derek Mason cornered him behind the gym after school one day, flanked by two friends. "So that's it?" Derek sneered. "You tear down your little empire and just walk away?" Altara didn't flinch. It wasn't mine to keep. Derek shoved him against the wall. "You made fools out of us. We followed you. You think you can just stop playing?" Altara met his glare calmly. "That's the thing about games, Derek. You only win when you stop needing to." Few words didn't make sense to Derek, not yet. But they would someday. He shoved Altara one last time and walked off, muttering under his breath. His footsteps faded into the rain. Altara stayed where he was, leaning against the wall, letting the drizzle soak through his uniform. And for the first time, he didn't feel defeated. He felt free. Later that evening, he wrote a single line in his notebook. Not a calculation, not a plan. Just a sentence. "Power means nothing if it costs your peace." He closed the book and set it aside. It no longer felt like a ledger. It felt like a diary. Outside, the rain eased, leaving behind the soft hum of the world breathing again. And somewhere between exhaustion and quiet joy, Altara Vale began to understand that redemption doesn't come from being forgiven, it comes from finally forgiving yourself.